everyone. Sorry we're running a little late. We're going to start this meeting. Roll call.
Mayor Bruner?
Here.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Here.
Commissioner Clark?
Here.
Commissioner Collins?
Here.
And Commissioner McDonald?
Here.
Okay. And our invocation is going to be by Pastor James Harp. And right after that, stay standing. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Harp? Thank you, sir.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us. We thank you, God, for your grace and your mercy. Lord, I just reminded today where it says in your word that you show mercy to those who have no one else to turn to. And Lord, I thank you for that. Sometimes we have no other direction. We have no other place to turn. And Lord, you show your mercy and your grace to us. And Lord, I would ask that on these folks that you've placed in leadership over the city of Stuart, God, that you would bless them, that you would give mercy and grace and wisdom, especially as decisions are made, Lord, that affect all of us here in this community. And God, we thank you that you are a God of wisdom and you give freely and liberally without reproach to those who ask in faith. And so, Lord, we do that today. We invoke your presence. We thank you for being here. And we just pray, God, for you to just oversee and be very present in our meeting today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have our arts moment. And Ann's going to do a presentation with our sanitation vehicles.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bruner. Good afternoon. Ann Hawkins, Program Manager for the Utilities and Engineering Department. Art in Stuart is everywhere, from murals and sculptures to sidewalk mosaics. It weaves into the city's fabric, honoring its history and future. Recently, Stuart's sanitation fleet underwent a transformation into mobile art galleries, adorning trucks with beautiful murals that traverse neighborhoods and business districts. This initiative not only showcases Stuart's vibrancy, but also celebrates the partnership between our sanitation team and the community. In 2022, artist Donald McIntosh began to capture the essence of Stuart with his designs. His work has been pivotal in bringing the vehicle art project to life, with each truck now featuring an iconic Stuart landmark or historical figure on one side and the Stuart Riverwalk design on the other, inspiring all to pitch in, keep Stuart beautiful. Let's take a look. So this is the Riverwalk, and you'll notice it's from a different perspective. As we look behind City Hall, it has our message, pitch in to keep Stuart beautiful. The next truck that was adorned on the second side was the Stuart Feed Store, the museum, and then the Water Tower Memorial Park, our striking duo. Guy Davis Field and the Stuart Dodgers at the 10th Street Community Center. We've got Haney Circle in the downtown business district. Shepherd Park from the vantage point of the boat launch. Kiwanis Park. Captain Adams Park at Confusion Corner. Originally from Jamaica, Don's artistry spans over 5 decades. Influenced by his travels across Europe and the United States, he honed his skills at the renowned Ringling School of Art in Sarasota, Florida, where his exceptional portrait work earned him the prestigious Gold Seal Award. His dedication to Stuart's cultural landscape continues to enrich our community. Tonight, I am very pleased to introduce Mr. Donald McIntosh and have him have a little meet and greet with you all. So, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
You're welcome.
I've never addressed the City Hall before, but thank you all so much. I was born in Jamaica, and I moved to Florida back in the late 60s, early 70s, and went to school over at Ringling. I spent a couple of years overseas, not in the military, but traveling around Europe like a vagabond. I had a van, I had my paints. I lived in Scotland for about 6 or 8 months. I lived in London for about 6 or 8 months. Then I moved to France and drove around. I ended up in Germany, Switzerland. I did a lot of painting over there. I sent a lot of that artwork home, and my folks would send it off to family members and friends. I ended up in Florida a couple of years later, and after raising a family, I moved to Martin County back in 1993. And in driving around Martin County, there was something different here. It's Florida. It's a Florida town, but it's not a typical Florida town, the Stuart area. You can go to Jensen Beach, you can go to Hope Sound, Stuart, Palm City. They're all Florida towns, but there's something unique about each and every one of them. And I think that's what makes this area so unique. People here really care about their environment. They care about what's happening in politics. They want to be involved, not to fight and argue, but to get things done. So when this opportunity presented itself, I was already painting during the COVID shutdown some of the landmarks in Martin County. And it dawned on me that there is so much history here that I know nothing about. So I started reading. I learned about the Stuart Water Tower. There's history there. I learned about Lady Abundance downtown Stuart. That's the same material that the Statue of Liberty is made from. Haney Circle. That was a gift. Going forward, when Ann asked me to participate in this program, I thought, my Lord, I'm going to have all my paintings on garbage trucks? And she said, just think of how many people are going to see your artwork, and the lights went off. And I thought, you know, I'm going to do this. And I have thoroughly enjoyed myself for the past year and a half. And I hope that this will continue, not just for me, but for a lot of the artists and the folks in Martin County that want to express themselves in different ways. And I can't thank you enough, Ann, for the opportunity. And I'm open to any questions you may have.
Well, stay right there because we want to give you this appreciation. Amazing the work you do. I have his postcard.
That's another thing.
Are there any other
Mayor,
questions?
can I have 2 questions, Mayor? So,
I have something for each of you before, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
Portraits?
Caricatures or portraits?
Thank you
you.
so much.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Is it over $25?
Thank you very much. Married on the top of that water.
Slap her.
We were lucky.
It's priceless. That's priceless. Commissioner Clark.
So, yes, I have a question, 2 questions. I forgot one, but I don't remember. So,
Hard to get to.
is the series over, or we have more trucks to complete, or more historic places that have not been painted on the trucks yet?
Yes, Commissioner, the trucks are ongoing. As new trucks are added to the fleet, they will go and get a graphic and wrap as they're added. So we have 2 more trucks that are coming aboard. We prefer to do the newer trucks as they come on rather than remove the older murals. So the truck is, the fleet is constantly being updated with the new designs. We believe we have 6 more to go.
Okay, Madam Mayor, can I ask one more question?
Yes, yes. Ask him.
So do we still have the little tourist office out here in utilities, or we don't have that anymore?
We do. It's in the front where the utility customer service windows are, yes.
Is it possible, I don't know, city manager, but like, could we make a series of like postcards and have them sold or something through that tourist office? Do we have the wherewithal to do that? Of these beautiful historic paintings?
I would have to look into it,
We'd
but
have to license them from Mr. McIntosh, I
Okay.
suppose, but we'd have to, we're in the budget, so if you want us to, we could hire the staff and put it all together.
Boy, it sounds like a great idea to me.
Just checking.
No objection.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the gift.
All the way from Jamaica, I may add.
All right, now we're going to do our proclamations. Lee, our
I lost it.
first proclamation is the 17th Annual Treasure Coast Waterway Cleanup.
You can
If you
change.
could read that proclamation for me.
Sure, Madam Mayor. Whereas the Marine Industries Association of the Treasure Coast, in conjunction with the Florida Inland Navigation District, also known as FIND, are deeply concerned with keeping the Treasure Coast waterways clean for all to enjoy. And whereas since its start, over 102.72 tons of trash have been collected from approximately 125 miles of waterways in Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties. And whereas the 17th Annual Treasure Coast Waterway Cleanup will be held on Saturday, July 27th, 2024, from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And whereas this event will attract over 1,200 volunteers who will participate in cleaning the waterways. There will be 25 designated sites throughout the 3 counties that will serve as registration and disposal sites for the volunteers to work out of. There will also be a virtual cleanup that allows volunteers to clean up on their own and report their progress online. Now, therefore, I, Rebecca S. Bruner, Mayor of the City of Stuart, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of July 20th through 28th, 2024, as the 17th Annual Treasure Coast Waterway Cleanup Week.
Thank you. We have 3 recipients, if you'll come forward. Dan Romance, President of the MIATC, and Kalita Scott with the Indian River Lagoon Council. Mimi Atkins, the site leader at Indian River Boat Ramp. If you'd like to say a few words.
Yes, please. My name is Dan Romance, and I'm the president of the Marine Industries Association of the Treasure Coast. And myself and Kalita and Mimi, we're representing the Treasure Coast Waterway Cleanup. And thank you for proclaiming July 20 to 27 Waterway Cleanup Week. The Marine Industries Association of the Treasure Coast and the Florida Inland Navigation District are happy to bring the Treasure Coast Waterway Cleanup to the City of Stuart for the 17th year. Since 2008, we have removed 102 tons of trash from our waterways. Our group targets 125 miles of waterway from Hobe Sound to Sebastian, in addition to approximately 15 miles of beachfront and a dive cleanup at Peck Lake Reef in Martin County. In 2023, 1,146 volunteers collaboratively removed 3.47 tons of trash from the waterways. Our week-long self-reporting event will be July 20th to 28th, and cleanup sites will be open on Saturday, July 27th. When you submit your data collection information, you'll be automatically entered into a raffle with all kinds of prizes, from gift certificates, tickets for local attractions, and more. Data must be entered by July 31st, and the drawing results will be posted on Facebook and our website on August 4th. Do please go to tcwaterwaycleanup.com, for more information and to register, and for the digital data collection form link. Some recent stats are: in Martin County, we had 1.05 tons of trash through 479 volunteers. And the City of Stuart was 0.17 tons of trash with 73 volunteers. Peck Lake Dive Reef was 0.13 tons of trash with 64 volunteers. Since 2008, there have been 5,670 total volunteers, removing a total of 36.55 tons.
Awesome, awesome.
The sites in Stuart, the sites in the city of Stuart include Ocean Boulevard, Stuart Causeway Boat Ramp, and Shepherd Park. Other Martin County sites include Blowing Rocks Preserve, Indian Riverside Park Boat Ramp, Jensen Beach Causeway Boat Ramp, the Layton Park Boat Ramp, and Peck Lake Reef Dive. Thank you very much.
I'd like to give you this proclamation. Right there.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
People dumped a ton of trash on the reef at Peck Lake? This was not off the beach, this was on the reef?
Yeah, I think, that's a dive collection.
Yeah.
So the divers do go down, and, it's the ocean, so things move around.
Oh,
They
okay.
can come from any which way. I used to live beachside elsewhere, and, anytime you walk the beach, you see ocean-generated debris, and it's, it makes the dive site a lot better, so.
Ladies, would you like to say?
Good job.
Remember for everybody to sign up online.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another proclamation, the Parks and Recreation Month. Lee, will you read this proclamation?
Sure, Madam Mayor. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the city of Stuart, Parks and Recreation promote health and wellness, encourages physical activities, and is designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as intergenerational programming, youth sports, environmental education, and socialization are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and natural recreation areas are fundamental to the environment as they improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve air quality, provide vegetative buffers to development, and produce habitat for wildlife. Our parks and recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. Now, therefore, I, Rebecca S. Bruner, Mayor of the City of Stuart, Florida, do hereby proclaim July 2024 as Parks and Recreation Month.
And our recipients, and two great guys here in the city, are Jim Krolsky and Milton Leggett. Please come forward. Yes.
We also have our Parks and Recreation crew, but I wanted to
you gotta
take a
get 'em all
moment and
up
just, yeah, we are.
Come on up.
I always wanted to make sure that you all realize that every time we have this Parks and Recreation Month right following fireworks, I get a little nervous because if it's a good show, Park and Recreation reflects that. But if it's a bad show, we don't want to talk about it. So fortunately, we had a great show, so we are able to share this momentous occasion. And I think also, too, I've been in a lot of systems where Parks and Recreation is together. When I first got here, I was kind of wondering about it, but I got to say the truth. The way we have things set up here in the city of Stuart, Milton's crew is just right on everything that we do. We program and they maintain everything, and we really do have a great working relationship, and for that I thank Milton and his crew as well.
And I wanted to say that the Stuart News, that parade, July 4th, of those golf carts, all decorated, red, white, and blue. We were going down. They were following us. We got to ride in the city golf cart. And Jessica, amazing how many people. Our second annual one. So it was fabulous seeing all those pictures in the Stuart News for everybody to see. Everyone had a wonderful time. And I'm going to bring this to you.
You got a comment? Nothing?
Right here.
Okay. Jessica, nobody?
Milton has come.
Milton, just
Milton is a
don't, keep
recreation
your speech down, Milton. Yeah, no more than 15
He's a
minutes.
fun guy.
Last but not least, we have one more proclamation with the Martin Reed's Children's Council. Lee, could you read this proclamation?
Of course. Whereas the first years of a child's life, when the most rapid brain development occurs, lay the foundation for all future learning, which is dependent on literacy, as children must first learn to read before they can read to learn. And whereas statistics show that children who are not reading on grade level by the end of the third grade have greatly diminished chance of success, impacting not only individual well-being, but also the prosperity of the broader community. And whereas we understand the tremendous benefits of being a moonshot community where we all take a stand for early literacy to work toward a moonshot goal of 90% literacy by the end of third grade. And whereas the Children's Services Council of Martin County, in partnership with Martin County School District and community leaders and organizations listed hereby, do proclaim to work together in a change-maker network recognized in partnership with Indian River County to become a moonshot community by focusing on this important goal in the vital efforts of our Martin Reed's campaign. Now, therefore, I, Rebecca S. Bruner, Mayor of the City of Stuart, Florida, do hereby proclaim recognition of Martin Reed's Read, Rise, and Realize.
Canny Kelly.
Mayor, can I ask Ms. Kelly what a moonshot community is? Okay, you're gonna talk? Okay.
Greetings. Thank you for having this proclamation. I want to just give you guys a little bit of background. I'm going to answer your question if I don't answer it in what I'm going to say, okay? So on May 16th, we were blessed to have the leaders, the founders of the Learning Alliance in Indian River County come down and co-facilitate a reverse visioning event. And what that event was us envisioning the year 2028 where we have 90% of our third graders on grade level. Right now, the percentages moved around since school has let out. We're roughly at about 54% overall. But as we know, 54% is not good enough. We wouldn't eat 54% of something that was food or drink, right? So we don't want 54%. The top county in the state right now is at 72%. We know that we can do better. Our children deserve better. So what happened during the reverse visioning is that 118 people from all over the community, all over the county, were invited to partake in that conversation, and we found out all the different ways that we're connected in trying to eradicate illiteracy in this county. And so the school district was instrumental in coming up with a strategy for creating a lab school similar to what they have in Indian River County to put some supports in place in one school and see if we can get those results out of that school. So that's what we're excited about happening going forward, and we wanted to sort of document that we had that moment and that we're all committed, right? So the Village of Indiantown has come on board, and they've also did this proclamation. The county, the school board, we're all in this together. It's going to take all of us. And this is gearing us up for International Literacy Day, which is September 8th, where we will be showing a screening of the movie Sentenced, which has been co-produced by the Children's Literacy Project, as well as four-time NBA champion Steph Curry and his wife. I will be finding a place to show that to the community, and so we'll have that. That's a very in-depth, raw look at what being illiterate costs us as a society, right? And so I'm really excited. I have my team here. So many people came out to support us today, and we really just want to continue to build this momentum that this has to be a priority in this county. This has to be. We can't be a county of excellence. We can't be a city of excellence where our children are not able to read. And if they're not reading by the 3rd grade, a probability of them catching up and being able to read goes down more and more every year until they're adults that are illiterate. And we don't want that. So thank you very much.
The name Moonshot, is that going to the moon?
Moonshot Moment is Indian River County's community action network, and basically what it means is, like, we'll shoot for the stars and if we land on the moon. So they have been, one of the reasons that we're modeling ourselves after them is that they are very similar to us in a lot of ways, and in the last 5 years they've been very effective at getting their numbers from 38th in the state to 7th in the state to most recently 5th in the state. And they have a very, very concise way of doing that, which includes data, instruction, and having the supports on the ground in those places. So we're trying to recreate at least one school that's going to have those same supports in place that we can see if we can get those results from. So we're just calling ourselves part of the Moonshot community because we want the whole Treasure Coast to be a literate capital of Florida. That's the way we look at it. We're all in this together. All of the counties are connected. So that's how we'd like for it to be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Okay. I am happy to give out all these service awards. We have a lot today. Marvin Dow, 25 years. Wow. Amazing. Awesome.
It's okay, it's still 25 years is good.
I have one more that's not attending, but we'll give him good recognition. Sean Ankling, 15 years, he's not attending.
15.
You pass this one. The rest of them are recipient Christopher Barbera, 15 years.
What's that? I just read them and hand it. And that's what I use. That's what I would do.
Thank you so much.
I would read them. What? I would read them from over there.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
You want me to read them? You can just stand
Yeah.
there,
Yeah,
and
that's a
then I'll
good
hand
idea.
them to you.
Okay, yes, thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Okay. The mayor's gotten her steps in today, so we are going to make it easier for her. So 15 years of service is Nicholas Steffen in Fire Rescue.
Congratulations, Nick.
Take to get you down here.
Hired when he was a baby.
Me and your mom come visit us last week.
I heard she needed to see you.
Next, stay there, Becky. Stay there, Becky. Next is in the fire department as well, Christopher Watson, 15 years of Next in the vehicle maintenance team is Edward Tanner with 5 years of service. Was there a hiring spree 5 years ago?
Yes, Eddie.
Next, with 5 years of service in the police department, is Joshua Cruz. Next, with 5 years of service at the 10th Street Center, athletic coordinator Jeffrey Hughes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Next, with 5 years of service with fire rescue, Levi Austin. Okay, what is this?
Austin Levi.
What are the ambassadors?
Thank you. No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Might be the next thing. It might not be. Might be the next thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
all right. So we're now doing certificates.
That's something different.
That's different. Okay, come back up here, Mayor.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I'll let Roz take us into this. Roz, while I get my paperwork together.
Lencioni. Where's he?
For these,
Mayor, are you ready?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Sorry, Ms. Johnson.
Good. So good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Roz Johnson Strong, Human Resources Director, for the record. And I'm here today to speak to you about our wellness programming. We haven't discussed this since 2021, so we thought it was a good time to come back. And we have recently won some awards, which we're excited to tell you about. Our wellness program started in 2012, so we are indeed in our 12th year. It used to be called Working on Wellness. It was known as the WOW program. So you'll still hear WOW every once in a while. If somebody's eating cake, they'll say, that's not very WOW of you. So you'll still hear that from time to time. And that name came about through an employee contest back in 2012. But in 2013, we decided to rebrand ourselves, and we put out another contest to employees. Now, I know my name is Strong. I have nothing to do with the name of the program, just want to clarify that. The employees, we had 100 submissions from employees, and employees voted on Stuart Strong with the tag name Healthy, Vibrant, and Thriving. The wellness program is funded through Cigna. This does not come from general funds. Back in 2012, we had $20,000, and we were quite pleased with that. It rose to $41,000, and we are currently at $60,000. This is negotiated every year through our benefits broker, the Gehring Group, and Cigna. So we always hope for more every year, and we are quite satisfied with how this has grown through the years. When we originally started the wellness program, it was all citywide programming, and what we came to discover was that employees in different departments want and desire different things when it comes to wellness programming. Police officers, firefighters may want something different than administrative personnel, who might want something different than field personnel. So while we still have citywide programming, we took a deep dive into department-specific programming. And to do that, we brought on a lot of wellness ambassadors. They are the driving force of the wellness program. They are the engine. Without them, this program would not work. We have about 13 ambassadors. They are employees in all different positions all throughout the city that bring this program to life. We partner with the Gehring Group, so we have 2 wellness experts within the Gehring Group in one of their divisions, and they partner with us to keep this flowing and help infuse new ideas that they get from other cities and counties throughout the state. And we are an award-winning program, which we're very proud of. So our wellness programming really is a 3-legged stool. So on the left side, you're going to see the Cigna insurance plan. So of course, we're insured, and we hope employees will use insurance when they need it, but we really hope that they will go to the employee health center before using the insurance. The health center is focused on preventive care, partnering. It's a concierge service. It's not a churn and burn where you go in and have an appointment for 10 minutes and they shuttle out. You can stay for 30, 45 minutes and really build a relationship with your provider. And it's all, of course, wellness related. And then we, of course, have our wellness programming. And if all 3 of these intertwine properly, we achieve some of our goals, a few that are here, which is reduce claims. You heard Jolie talking about our claims experience. We're asking our employees to take ownership of our insurance plan, to keep it healthy, to keep it alive, to keep costs down, to keep the premiums as low as possible. We ask employees to own it, just as much as we own it, and they do. If we do all of this well, we have enhanced employee overall well-being that can reduce absenteeism, increase presenteeism, and all of the other great things that come along with just feeling good, feeling alive, and living your best life. Makes you a better employee, too. Our guide is this wellness wheel, and I provided you all with a copy of that so you can see both sides of the wheel. This was introduced to us several years ago by one of our very own, Jan Faselli, who works in the Fire Rescue Department, and partly in HR, and partly in police. But Jan Faselli is the one who actually brought this into the city as a concept, and it has 7 facets to it. So there's physical, emotional, spiritual, occupational, environmental, social, and intellectual. All of our wellness programming, everything we do, points somehow to this wheel. And the backside of the flyer that I gave you, which I didn't put up as a slide, but the backside of your flyer shows a slightly deeper dive into each one of those 7 elements. It's a terrific tool. Our programming, like I said, is really driven by this wheel, and the department initiatives are the big elements of the wellness programming, which is governed by our wellness ambassadors. And of that $60,000 budget that we have for the year, each ambassador is given $1,500 a year, which is $375 per quarter. And they decide how to spend the money based on the needs, desires, and wants and requests from the employees within their purview. So what we ask them to do is do 2 challenges every quarter that align with this wellness wheel. Some of the recent ones are Floss Like a Boss, where employees were given floss, toothpaste, and a toothbrush and encouraged to floss every single day a few times. We've had a reading challenge where we encourage employees to read from an actual paper book. Remember those way back? To get them off of technology and into an actual book. We've had a hydration challenge. We've had sun safety challenges. We've had 5Ks when it was a little cooler, 10Ks and whatnot. So they create these challenges and get the employees in their department group involved. They also do 2 educational offerings every quarter, and those are generally on nutrition and fitness to kind of tie all this in, but it can be on any topic tied into that wheel, and it might tie into one of the challenges. They also purchase healthier snacks. I'm not gonna say they're really healthy snacks, but I'll say they're healthier snacks. Fruit, they also distribute vegetables to the employees. Most of the locations have smoothie makers, so these fruits and vegetables can contribute to making smoothies on the job. And when we're running out of ideas, Gehring Group has Wellness in a Box, and it's off-the-shelf programming. One of the recent ones that they gave us was an apple a day challenge. So as long as employees ate an apple a day, they got a point for the day and they win prizes. As for the citywide lunch and learns and other citywide events, we've had some with that have to do with financial topics, budgeting, repairing one's credit, home buying tips. We partner with Seacoast Bank for those particular presentations, and they've been wonderful and well received by employees. We've also done sleep improvement, memory improvement. We've had mental health topics like stress reduction, meditation, moving our bodies, and letting stress out. Those tend to come from Jupiter Medical. They've been a partner with us for many years. Healthy cooking and meal prep come from some local vendors as well who are happy to come in and help show our employees how to make some healthy meals. And we have some group events, 5Ks, 10Ks, triathlons, again, when it's a little cooler. It's not quite this time of the year. We just had a fabulous bowling event. Stuart Lanes has a VIP room, and we had 25 employees from all over the city, all different departments, came out on a Saturday night with their families and bowled and had fun, and we had food, and we're still hearing about how much fun they had, and they've all asked, when are you doing it again? We've had ballroom dancing. We had an 80s night of dancing. We go to the Salt Room in Stuart, and all of these are all paid for and funneled through the wellness program, but these in particular are driven to build community, camaraderie, team building, morale building, all of that getting to know people as human beings, and relationships and communications improve. We have quarterly chair massages. That's our #1 request from employees. Tobacco and vaping cessation. We brought mental health first aid, MHFA, to the city where employees got certified. NAMI, we partnered with them recently to host an event at the Public Safety Building. Employee appreciation events, whether it's a day or an entire week, we've done both, and the employees love it. And this is a touch point for every single employee, where a picnic, which is wonderful, only brings out maybe a quarter of the employees. Employee appreciation day or week, you touch everybody, because everybody's getting something: lunch, food, breakfast, a gift, something. Everyone's getting touched, so we like doing those. We have holiday events, pumpkin carving, the gingerbread competition, Christmas decorating. Take Your PTO and Go is another new one. We're trying to encourage employees to actually get away from work. Turn it off. As much as we love our jobs, and I can speak for myself, I love what I do, but being able to get away and actually detach, and if they do that and take pictures and share a little story with us, we'll spotlight them and send it around the city. The Go You program is one of our bigger things as well. Employees earn credits for activities that align with that wellness wheel. They earn points, we call them credits, and they win prizes every single quarter, up to $50 every quarter in a gift card, and they get to choose where the gift card comes from. We have our annual 3-step health risk assessment, which is a pretty comprehensive physical. And preventive care is our current, it's always been a focal point, but we're really driving that pretty hard now to try to get employees to do more preventive care. And if they upload a signed document from their doctor saying they did that thing, whatever that preventive thing is, they get points for that towards the Go You program. If we can get into the preventive front and use the health center for that concierge partnering, there's a really good chance we could bring our claims way down. And those serious high-dollar claims, we'd love to say they'll evaporate. They won't. We're always going to have something, but maybe not as many. One of our biggest events, and this is another one that we're very proud of, other than the Employee Appreciation Day or Week, is our annual Wellness and Open Enrollment event. This used to be 2 different events. Open enrollment can be kind of dry. You go pick out your insurance, you decide what you want, you sign up, and you leave. The Wellness Fair used to be held in May, and the employees loved it. So I thought, gosh, why don't we combine these 2? So we did, and the employees, everyone loves them. They come in and they get a bag lunch. We partner with Ellie's Deli around the corner, so Ellie's does our lunches. We bring in AngioScreen, which is a mobile service that does the carotid, I can say it, carotid artery ultrasound, and they do abdominal aortic scanning and EKGs. That's a very popular one. Last year, we brought in SafePoint to do hearing tests on site, on-spot dermatology, so we had a lot of dermatological visits. We've had the Mammo van before. We've had the Big Red Bus. We're hoping to get them back again for our event, which is coming up in August, by the way. But we also have these really fun components. So we do a benefits treasure hunt where we put benefits questions all over the public safety building, and employees have to find them. And then when they find them, they answer the question, and they put their responses into a box, and if they get them all right, they're eligible for a drawing. And they love it. They're like, where's the treasure hunt this year? We also added a photo booth last year. So city managers up there, we've got Susay, Jordan, Karen, and Mary.
That's awesome.
The photo booth was a huge hit. Last year, our theme was a tropical vibe. So everyone was in this tropical spirit and just got into some of the fun.
Milton isn't there?
I remember.
No, we couldn't get Milton up there, I don't think. I don't think we got you.
He was there for the picture, just standing near us.
We have our mechanics at the bottom there. We've got the chief of police right there in the center. Got our tram drivers. Everyone got in on the fun. So we're going to do the photo booth again this year. So last year's theme was tropics, and this year it's going to be celebrating the Olympics. Another big hit is our Lego building contest at this event. So when you go visit one of our benefit partners, we have about 20 benefit partners on site and wellness partners. Everything from Cigna to Aflac to the local massage group to the Salt Room to, there's just 20 or so partners that we have in our benefits world and wellness. And every time an employee goes to see one of those partners, they get a Lego piece. And they collect the Lego pieces and they can build something with it, submit it without their name, tell us what it is, because we have no idea what the Lego creations are, but they tell us what it is. And then we get a random group of employees to come judge them. And we noticed this past year that the creations were getting bigger. And what we recognized is that the employees decided to form their own teams and get more Lego pieces together to build something together. So they're the ones who made it a team event. What was it? That's cheating. Hey, you're in here, Darren. There's Darren's. Darren put in the snowplow there on the bottom right.
That's awesome.
And that was Nicole Johnson, who used to work here. She made a palm tree, but she found this little miniature coconut to put underneath the tree. They have so much fun with this. So we really make the event a lot of fun. So that's just kind of if I could spend hours telling you all about the wellness programming, but we don't have enough time for all that. No. But I will tell you that we've won some terrific awards. Remember, we started in 2012, so after just a few years, from the Florida Department of Health, we won the Healthy Weight Community Champion for our obesity programming. Cigna awarded us runner-up for the comprehensive nature of our wellness programming, and it's so much more comprehensive now than it was back in 2017. The Human Resources Florida State Council in 2020, first place silver for the tobacco and vaping cessation programming that we do. It's been reported we've had at least 12 employees quit so far. 12, which is terrific. And then it got really great. So we applied for a few more awards. In 2024, actually in 2023, we applied for the Cigna Healthy Workforce Gold Level Award. And we really didn't think we'd get it. We weren't sure we'd hit the mark. But we got gold, and it's the highest level designation that Cigna awards. And it's for the commitment to ensuring employee health remains a top priority. And that is absolutely one of our driving forces.
That's awesome, Roz. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Oh, it was a team. It was a team effort, I assure you. But we got really high marks from Cigna for a few things that I want to point out. Leadership buy-in and participation in events. They gave us high marks for that. Emphasis on preventive strategies. Our partnership with the Employee Health Center. They also gave us credit. We reached out to Martin County Board of County Commissioners. We both wanted a dietitian. So the health center hired the dietitian recently, and the county and city are participating in that cost. So we're very excited about that partnership. Yeah. The city's ongoing wellness communication and education efforts. The wellness wheel, we got big points for the wellness wheel. Our commitment to behavioral health education, awareness, and support, which is a big part of the next award. Commitment to additional mental health support for our public safety personnel. The tobacco and vaping again. The commitment to work-life balance. The city offers flexible work schedules wherever it can, but it also really pushes an open-door policy for anyone to drop what they're doing and tend to the needs of the person there and encouraging two-way dialogue. We got big points for that. The tuition reimbursement program, access to healthier snacks, fruits, produce, those kinds of things. So that's just a sampling of some of what they gave us high scores on. And organizations recognized with this are considered setting the standard of excellence. So you'll see this logo around. We're putting it in our signatures, and it's going into our recruitment We are very proud of this. And this was in February that we were awarded this. And then right after that, here comes March. Mental Health America, this is one of the toughest awards to get. They awarded us the Bell Seal for workplace mental health at the gold level, and that is the second highest level designation that any employer can get.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really impressive what this team has done. This is a strong commitment to, and this is important, to creating a mentally healthy and psychologically safe workplace where employees can come forward, they can speak, they can have a conversation without fear of reprisal or adverse action. Very, very important. And we got high marks from Mental Health America for what I just mentioned for Cigna, but we also got it for the education offerings we've delivered in trauma, crisis, PTSD, and suicide awareness. We were doing that before it became required in statute for public safety personnel. The City of Stuart was doing it before that even came about. We also have a robust intranet for employees if they're in a crisis or thinking they need assistance. Our intranet pages are robust with information to help them. The HR director maintains a commitment 24/7, 365 availability to all employees, including keeping that open door policy and maintaining certification in critical incident stress management at the individual and group level. So we did get points for that as well. The city received high marks for its EAP, which is a prepaid benefit for employees and part-time employees as well, and commissioners. Everyone has access to that. Peer support, which is available in police and fire, which is a huge program. It's very well received. And we also have worked with some providers in the area for immediate referrals should an employee need assistance. So Mental Health America acknowledged all that, and only 1 in 4 employers in the country meet the standards for the Bell Seal at all. And the city got the second highest rating. So a huge team effort there by everybody. And we're going to keep reaching for awards. But our ambassadors really are the driving force. Many of them are here tonight. I would like to introduce you to them so they can come up to the dais. For 10th Street Recreation Center, we have Jessica Tharp and Scarlett Scher. It'd be great if we could take a group photo. For citywide programming, Karen Chambers-Cuffey. In fire rescue, Jan Faselli. In utilities and engineering, Chad Herzog and Jima Hutchinson. I don't think they were able to make it tonight. Kathy Martin is on vacation, but she helps us with program support and inventory, part of our backbone. Susay Maliki from City Hall. Darcy Pilarski, who covers the annex for us. Maggie Riley Dalton is also on vacation with family, but she is, as I mentioned, Cigna pays for all of this programming, so we put out the funds, and Maggie's the one who makes sure we get that money back from Cigna, which is a big part of our backbone. Paula Sesta from Public Works. Christina Weinman from Police. And myself.
Ross, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll get Ross in there.
Oh, women.
In her city blue.
My experience
Becky in the middle.
All you ladies, everyone.
It is. Every year you get better and better. You really care. We have the best staff. We have the best employees. And we're grateful, very grateful. Blessed.
Madam Mayor, can I ask her a couple of questions?
And may I just acknowledge 2 more people, actually 3, or really quickly? Thank you. Joelle Cantor, who is the Director of Wellness and Wellbeing Solutions at Gehring, is here with us. So this is Joelle here. Jordan Winters is also one of our partners. She was unable to be here tonight. And Stephanie Morris, who is our senior account manager with Gearing. She's a part of it as well. Thank you both for your support, too.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ladies.
So how fun is it to work at the city of Stuart?
The best.
So do you have a suggestion box, or do you have employees by percentage of activity? Do you keep track of who's participating in the Zumba and how they're doing in terms of numbers?
Numbers, yes. Not by name, but numbers, yes. We do track all of that.
Okay, because you said that the picnics and so on, people have been participating more.
Yes.
Number one. And then the use of the current employee clinic on East Ocean Boulevard versus when we had it over the bridge. I think people were taking advantage of saying that they could go to another private doctor or something. Are we seeing that people are opting out, or more people are using, or is there an option for them to opt out and not use the city clinic?
So the Employee Health Center is for employees who are on our insurance and their dependents as well. And retirees are entitled to use it as well. So if they're on the insurance, they can use the Employee Health Center, which of course is to defer costs. But if employees don't want to take our insurance at all, they can opt out and receive a small stipend every month for opting out. But if they opt out, they can't use the health center.
They can't use the health.
No, ma'am.
So we have, the percentage is very small as to who's not using the health center. Most people are on the
Oh, yes.
insurance program.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think we have about 15 or so who opt out. And the Employee Health Center also has generic prescriptions. I think we have 70 or more on hand. So it's all free to the employees. So those who use it well. And they keep off the insurance. They stay away from the insurance.
And on this chart, you had the 7. Is it because nutritional is all over why you didn't have it on here? Because it's actually 8.
It kind of, embodies
Because it
everything.
overlaps everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with regard to the Employee Wellness Center, I must say that preventative thing, although we all have to do the prevention with whatever it is, nutrition and diet, exercise, all these things, but you know, the Gearing Group and Dr. Libman there and Dr. Parsons and all the staff there, maybe there should be a time when we truly recognize them and show them appreciation for what they're doing. They're saving us some dollars on insurance costs and things like that. And I know myself, I've personally had to use them like 3 times recently. And it's, you know, because they decided to say, you know, do this, do that, to make sure that something else doesn't happen. And I think it's important that we recognize them. I always thank them. And I've had family members who've had serious issues, and it's because of their intervention. So it's, I think it's very important to know the value of the, I call it the city clinic, you call it the Employee Wellness Center.
Health Center.
Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. That's noted. And that concierge personal attention that they give, they know when to refer someone out to a specialist, and they will do that without hesitation. But whatever they can do for preventive and maintenance, they're wonderful. They've done a great job for a lot of our employees. Employees are very happy with them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ross, thank you so much.
Thank you for your
Wonderful
time.
presentation. We have one more presentation. This one is just as important. We have the Poppleton Creek Lake Restoration. A lot of information from Milton and Mr.
Dr. Joe
Gilio.
Gilio.
Yes, Gilio. Joseph Gilio. Thank you, gentlemen. A lot of good information on this presentation.
Thank you for having me here.
Joe,
Speak
real
more
quick.
clearly
into the mic, I can't.
More? Okay. I'll talk louder.
Joe, real quick.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Milton Leggett, Public Works Director. Just come to bring you up to speed in reference to our Poppleton Creek Lake Restoration and Management Program. Before you, as you see, we have Joe Gilio, which was hired to assist us with this program. Joe, if you would, please.
I came here in Martin County in 1973 after spending 3 years at the University of Miami for my doctorate. Didn't get it. I got through the candidate stage and did my dissertation. Now, the reason that this all started was because former Mayor Matheson came to me and said, can you do anything with our lakes? I have done, when I was in a business called Wetlands Management, Inc., I did the retention system next to the Jewish temple. If you look at it, it looks like you're in the Everglades. But I've done nothing else in the city. What I did do was St. Lucie West, Tradition, Harbor Ridge, a whole mess of things. And what I've done is basically took newly dug stormwater retention ponds and planted native vegetation along the shoreline and especially underwater. So if we can go from the first, there we go. If I've done this right, if I can find it.
And pull the mic down, Joe.
Pull the mic down, okay. I'm just trying to find my little button. I can't like that.
Full screening, no? You got a full screening PDF.
Where's the button? I see it, but where is the button?
The light is on.
Yeah.
Help him, Darren.
No.
Thanks. We didn't get it fixed yet, did we? Okay, he's going to fix it.
Just gotta zoom in or something.
I'll try it. Oh, well. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll go without it. As you notice, that this is Poppleton Creek Lake.
Yeah.
This is one of about 22 lakes that are within the city limits, as far as I understand. They're all storm retention systems, which means they take storm water from roofs, roads, lawns, and they put it into ditches, et cetera, and they end up in these storm retention lakes. The purpose of these lakes worldwide is to allow particulate matter, which contains pollutants like extra nitrogen and extra phosphorus, to settle into the mud, into the bottom. That's how it's generally done. What I did for 45 years is to say, before you even start a development, I added underwater plants called tape grass. This tape grass is a native plant that looks just like lawn grass, except that it has roots and leaves. And what it does, it cements the bottom. That is, it keeps the bottom a little bit cleaner, and it allows habitat for little baby fish, for crayfish, for whatever you name it. This is not the same grass that is in the Indian River Lagoon. That grass is turtle grass. Turtle grass cannot live in fresh water. Tape grass cannot live in salt water. So just so you understand, they look exactly the same, they function the same, but they are not the same biologically. So what we did here on this lake is we had 3 sections. And the question that was asked to me is, can we reduce, or can the city of Stuart reduce their use of basically biocides, chemicals to kill weeds? My answer was, I don't think so, but I definitely think we can reduce the use of chemicals on your aquatic systems by using native plants to outcompete the area, because as you probably have all heard, nature abhors a vacuum. And when you have a bare shoreline, something is going to populate it. Some plant is going to populate it. So we took
Joe,
3 sections.
Joe, quick question, just to clarify. You had said the question that came to you was, can we reduce the use? Did you mean, can we eliminate the use?
My opinion and the result of this little experiment, this was an experiment, is no, you cannot eliminate, but I think you can significantly reduce the chemical.
Right.
Yeah, and the reason I can say that is because of the 25 years that I spent as founder and president of Wetlands Management, Inc., which I sold in 2006, was that we actually did use less chemicals. When you have native plants growing there, you don't want to kill them. You want them to function. So we reduced the amount of chemical. Completely? No. Significantly? Yes. So on these 3 areas, what we did is Area A And I don't know if you can see it there because my pointer doesn't work, but maybe you can see that there's a little bit of a green area around A and B. Those are weeds. Those are exotic bad weeds. So on A, we had your aquatic vegetative control people kill it chemically like they typically do. On area B, Milton's people pulled the weeds out well. On area C, we just simply planted in the weeds. Now, the plants that we put in were called spike rush. They're present in the lake right now. And we put them in the equal amount, spaced apart, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I walked out about 20, 30 feet out into the lake. It wasn't deep. It was a foot and a half deep. And we took clumps of tape grass and put it in the ground. The result was that, I think we can go to the next slide. Well, no, the next one. No, the next one. Okay, there we go. Now, on the bottom left, you can see a tremendous nothing growing on the, I'm going to go over there. And I think it's the only way I could do it because my pointer's not working.
You gotta take the mic with you.
This is area A and B. Nothing happened. But what you can see, this is area C. This is area C, but it's hard to see. What happens here and here and here is that I asked, as part of the contract, to have AOC not kill any native plants that came up, that evolved from the time that they did it. And what happened is the native plants started to grow, and they didn't kill them. Now, what's happening is that underwater, I'm looking, do we have it? Yes, next page. On the next page, on top, I planted about a 6-inch clump of tape grass in about, a foot and a half of water. And bingo, within 1 year, that grass spread. This is tape grass. This is a native grass. Mm-hmm. And it spread everywhere that we put it. But the stuff that we put on the shore got wiped out because there was an enormous production of baby tears. These baby tears basically smothered the plants that I had put out. And nothing I could do about that. Now, so the success of the planted vegetation along the shoreline was disaster. The underwater plants, great success, but it's only covering about 5% of the total lake margin. And if anyone ever takes a look at Cinnamon Tree or at St. Andrew's Catholic Church, where I showed the people what it looked like, you'll see how it can develop. The other thing then, if we go back to the second page, there we go. I know it's a lot of verbiage, and I will simply try to explain it. On the top, number 2, it says, by selective application limited to nuisance plants and sparing the expanded native vegetation, you should be able to reduce the amount of herbicide chemicals that you apply to this. Now, how are you going to get that information? The only way that you're going to get the information is AOC, a very competent company who does all of your lake maintenance, should be able to give you, because they required by their permit, to list every time they do an application, the amount of chemical that they use and the type of chemical that they use. And they have that data from long term, because they have to retain it. And in the future, as these plants grow, then you can start to see the difference between what's happening with the amount of chemical that is used. Let me then go to lake water quality, which is the second paragraph there. The total nitrogen in Poppleton Creek is 400 and some odd parts per million. Lake Okeechobee is around 1,500 parts per million. That's good. You want to be low. Total phosphorus which is the major producer of harmful algae blooms, and you don't have any yet, thank God, is 160. This is the parts per billion. This is the same concentration as in Lake Okeechobee. That surprised me quite a bit. The chlorophyll level, which is the measure of the little plants that are the basis of the food web for your lakes, is 16 part per trillion. That's normal. Now, the total phosphorus, we have what's called the trophic index. The trophic index is a measure of the pollutant nitrogen or the pollutant nutrient concentration. Low value for nitrogen, extremely high value for phosphorus, and the chlorophyll is right in the middle of this level. That's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be whatever I've ever looked at it. If the nitrogen is here, the phosphorus is here, and the chlorophyll is there, you're here, here, and here. I don't know why. So I strongly suggest that you do some more measurements at 3 different spots on a quarterly basis for the total nitrogen, total phosphorus, and see if that lines up to a better system. The other thing that I'm concerned about is that the total nitrogen to total phosphorus ratio is 2.8. Worldwide, the harmful algae blooms tend to go, once you reach 10 on that total nitrogen, total phosphorus ratio, that's when you start to get harmful algae blooms. Lake Okeechobee in 1970 was at 18. Today it's at 5. And once it reached 10, Lake Okeechobee has been having an annual harmful algae bloom every year, every summer. So I'm a little concerned. That's why I strongly suggest a little more measurements of your chemicals in that area. The other thing that I would, I'm not going to get into the fecal coliform. They're not too bad. The fecal coliform is a measure of, can I swim? Can I drink? You have to have 0 to drink. You have to have 80 in order to be able to be safe to swim. This lake started at 60 when we started this little experiment, and this couple of months ago, it was 12. Can I take claim for the fact that the plants did this? No, because the plants aren't covering enough of the lake to count, so I can't take credit for it. But I still think that 12 is very, very good. Your hospital pond, which was the first one that you wanted me to look at, was 190. Bad. This is good.
Okay.
The other thing that I would suggest on my recommendations, which are, I think, the 3rd page, if we can get to the 3rd page, and I think you have them, I'm going to go through there you go. You did enough experimental plantings. We know that they do not work unless you clean up the lake before you put these plants in. You can add additional plants. There are the handouts, they have them. Those are the native plants that you can put in. You can put in some water lilies. You can put in water lilies like this. Great bass habitat. You can put in pickerelweed, which is, by the way, just started. Again, a nice habitat, looks pretty, and also functions. These are some of the works that I did in St. Lucie West. To be quite simple, you can see the analysis. I think you have paper copies on this. Okay, so what I found was that if we can go to the picture of the tilapia. Next page. Okay, right there. On the top right, that's tilapia. Somebody was fishing there. I saw a lot of people fishing. And he's taking that to eat at home. Tilapia and I'll call it a pleco, catfish. They can get about this big. They're exotic. They're in tropical stores, and people don't want them, and they put them in the lake. The lake is dominated by exotic tropical fish. When I spoke to him last, said that he might be interested, is fish these exotics out, because the people who fish there want to see the fish that I showed before, the native fish with the bass, the bream, and the crappie. Right. is what they should be having there. And now if you're establishing a native plants community in there, then you're set up for a bass and bream and crappie fish, native fish. If the city of Stuart is top as small city with regard to sailfish, water quality of drinking water, why not make it the bass fishing capital of a small city also? It's possible to do it and improve your water quality that from your stormwater retention lakes, because the major problem is the river. Are any of the discharges from your lakes causing the condition of the river? The answer, I think, is no. You're discharging a little bit of pollutant, but not the major part. But it's not a bad idea to find out, are you or are you not polluting the river? A little bit. I think so. We don't know because there's no numbers on it. There's a lot of work that can be done, and if you're interested, I can certainly provide some information to you. But right now, if you have any questions, I'm open.
Commissioner McDonald, he has a question.
First of all, I love everything you've done here.
Thank you.
And I think there's some great recommendations that we should be looking at enacting. What is it, the tape grass? Will that affect the sailboats? Or will it stay low enough down?
No, it stays low enough. It won't bother it, no.
Pardon?
It will not bother them at all. No, it's low to the ground.
Okay, great, because I know that there's a couple very active sailboat clubs, and I've met with them a few times, and on this grass issue, and actually I really like watching the sailboats out there too. So I think that's fabulous. So, and this other thing, and this is more of a curiosity. It's because obviously there's tilapia. What is a tilapia nest? It says tilapia nest.
Oh. Okay, I think we have a picture of that.
Last slide.
I'm trying to find it. It's there it is, right there. See those circles, those open circles? They're about 3-4 feet wide and about 6 inches deep, and they're either tilapia. The tilapia go in there.
What do they do? Go in and dig it out, or
they use their fins to dig it out, and then they lay their eggs in there.
Okay.
And or it's the pleco catfish. I mean, the whole lake is dominated by exotics. There's very few native fish in there, from what I can tell. There are snook, and there are some tarpon, I've been told, which surprises me. But the snook and the tarpon will not be able to reproduce. They probably came in there before the weir was put in.
So, as far as eradicating the exotic fish, how would we do that? I think going out there and getting a bunch of kids out there a rod and reel might take forever. I mean, would we send somebody with nets to do it? Is that how you?
Merritt suggested that he wouldn't mind trying to run this, and Alex would help him. Probably fishing with maybe some dough balls. You can't go in the water and net them. You think you have to catch them, and I think you could have a little tournament, and you could have a week tournament long. But now the real problem is once you do get these fish, you've got to get rid of them. You can't put them, just dump them on the side, and it would take a while. One of the recommendations I do suggest is that you put continue to add underwater grass. I can do it if you want, and maybe some more plants along the shore. But anyway, that's my recommendation.
If we start fishing out and dramatically reduce the exotic population, will the native population, the bass, eat any baby tarpons that are lingering, or not tarpon, tilapia that are lingering?
To my best knowledge, yes, but I don't know how many bass you have.
Yeah, so could we add bass?
After a while, after you get more growth in that particular pond, then I say yes. Then you can actually go to FWC and say, okay, especially with a municipality as you are, they'll do it for nothing. But
yeah, because I'm just trying to think of how you would eradicate it.
You can use poison. You can use electricity. Maybe a poison I don't like to use. I really don't. I'm very negative toward using poisonous man-made chemicals in any natural system.
Commissioners, we're working with a secondary company.
Don't even mention it, Joe.
I work with a secondary company called Solar to Lake Management. And we'll have recommendations from them also as far as continuing the process of managing this lake
If I could
versus.
also put everything in perspective, if you recall, we weren't trying to create an aquarium. This was dry land in 2007. It was an open field. There was no lake there at all. The city of Stuart and the DEP, through some grants, built a major stormwater retention area that was designed to capture the road runoff and fertilizers and other matters before they went to the river. The issue was that in order to maintain the weeds around the bank of the lake, as well as where the spillway leads over into Poppleton Creek, there was a requirement that spraying take place. And as a result, there was a debate as to whether it was going to be manually removing the weeds or spraying the weeds. Knowing that Central Parkway was zoned for and designed for future development, the commission anticipated that the stormwater would be increasing in pollutants just by the very nature of more cars and more less clear acreage for the permeability of the water as it rained. We can focus on the idea of going down and converting our ponds into aquariums, but what was really the intention of the study was to determine whether or not we could maintain the banks of the lakes with manual spraying or with physical removal of the grasses, et cetera. When we removed the grass, or when we allowed the grasses to grow in at Palm Beach Road, where known as Hospital Pond, as well as Poppleton Creek, we got a significant number of complaints from people that were saying it was unruly and didn't look well landscaped, and that was when David Dias came back and had some limited spraying go on, and that's when Dr. Giglio was hired to kind of do an evaluation to determine is there a better method for us to maintain the growth around the lakes? It wasn't so much as a full evaluation of how do we make the lakes free from chemicals and free from exotics, because we didn't even know the exotics were in the lake. And when there's description of tarpon and snook in there, I find that to be amazing that they walked up there into that vacant land sometime in the early 2000s and waited for us to dig the trench. But, you know, crazier things have happened. So for what it's worth now, the report that I took from is that Dr. Giglio said that we need to reduce the level. And so I'd be interested to know what the baseline was that we would reduce from, because you said we should reduce the level of spraying. So what was the baseline you had?
I have no baseline. I did not do the spraying. AOC, they're the ones that have the data.
Right, but if it was zero,
We know it wasn't zero.
So how much was it?
I don't know because I don't have their data.
So
I mean, you have to ask them.
More of an arbitrary, just to be better if it
So
was
what he
less.
was saying is AOC would come up with that over time as we're restoring this grass, what they would actually need in terms of chemicals to achieve their
By
job.
its very nature, the commission already voted for that. So we did that, and we limited it to just when necessary, and we've always come back to the commission. The question was, should we completely remove it altogether? And I think that the solution was obviously you can do that, but you end up with the natural growth and it's harder to maintain, and that there's a balance somewhere in that. But also knowing that if the fecal coliform went from 60 to 12, that also shows a reduction in something that's already taken place by a matter of 5 times. So I think that we'd probably find that the baseline for the nitrogens and the other chemicals is probably also reduced if, in fact, a baseline was measured when it started.
So part of an ecosystem is consuming these kinds of chemicals, right? So we're just like STAs, right? We're trying to create a
That's
healthy
what this is. This is an STA.
ecosystem. Yes,
Correct.
we're creating a healthier ecosystem to help modulate and soften the impact from these kinds of things. if we are planting more of these grasses, which that's your recommendation for a next step?
Yeah, well, let me just differentiate good grass versus bad grass.
Tape grass.
No, tape grass is good.
Yes.
Torpedo grass is bad.
Bad grass.
And that's what's growing in your lake when it's not left, when it's left alone, is torpedo grass. And for that, generally, it used to be used rodeo. And rodeo is glyphosate, and glyphosate has been taken out of the European Union because of its cancer-forming potential. Your AOC used something different. They use aquathol. Again, it's a man-made chemical. It kills plants. It's rather selective.
Diquat dibromide was one of those. Diquat dibromide was one of those.
No, it's aquathol.
There was a list of
potassium aquathol, I thought. I don't have it in front of me, but I think that's what. Anyway, the point is it's a man-made chemical. And I'm not suggesting to make little aquariums. I'm suggesting making your systems cleaner, because the more plants, more native plants, suck up more of your excess nitrogen and your extra phosphorus.
Right.
And then they allow the plant habitat, the good natural plant habitat, so that you end up with a successful aquarium-like food web of bass, bream, crayfish, frogs, even snakes sometimes. And there's also turtles, to make it as natural as possible so that the people of Stuart can enjoy their fishing rather than getting junk fish that they get, number one. It's all possible. What I strongly suggest is that I did all of St. Lucie West 30 years ago. They have a bass fishing club at Lake Charles. They started 3 years after I got there in terms of planting their lake, and the bass comes out pretty good size, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pounds. They're still going strong on a bass fishing club. Take a look at St. Lucie West. Lake Charles is easy to get to. Take a look at Poppleton Creek, that's yours. Take a look at Cinnamon Tree on US 1. Take a look at St. Andrews Pond. St. Andrews is 23 years old. Cinnamon Tree is 45 years old. And all of St. Lucie West is between 25 and 35 years old. And they're still establishing and working. And Tradition, by the way, I also did Tradition with this grass. And some of the stuff is on the side. My bias, and it's a bias, is to create as much naturalized stormwater treatment systems as possible. And now I cannot measure your fertilizer reduction. I cannot measure it because AOC has the data. I don't have the data, and it wasn't my part of my job to get the data.
Thank you.
But just for clarification, just to finish, your recommendations are not the status quo that we've been doing, continuing. We're recommending removing junk grass and also planting
some additional.
The additional, right?
Good stuff.
Right.
Get rid of the bad stuff, keep the good stuff. And this could be a model for your other 21 lakes in Stuart, City of Stuart.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Clark?
Sorry, go ahead, Commissioner
Okay,
Clark.
so you answered my question about possibly when the cleanup deals with use and consumption. I understand that. My other question was to compare what happened at Hospital Pond and how we're continuing with that process.
Well, Commissioner, we're going to finish up with Poppleton Creek first, and then we'll address the other ponds as we go.
So all we did was that big takeout eradication. We did that spray thing at Hospital Pond some time ago, right?
That was a test area first.
Okay.
So we shifted everything to Poppleton Creek because of the slopes and everything else. Of
It was about 3 years ago.
Right. Okay. All right, fine. So I have two more. The lake at the dog park, do we have that in the process to do anything with that?
That's
or-
the
That
one
is
we're talking
Poppleton.
about.
That's the one we're talking
Oh, that's the one, okay, I'm
Yes.
thinking, okay, so then let me change then. Off of Palm City Road where we have that little area, because you're mentioning fecal and some other things, and I hear that there are issues behind the Poppleton Creek development, which kind of all runs into that there were some issues along that Palm City Road part of.
That portion of Poppleton Creek is tidal. The lake that we're talking about at the top
just
of the
one in the
Poppleton Creek
park.
watershed is above a weir. And
Correct.
It's a stormwater retention area that was man-made by the city of
As a
Stuart
dog
and
park.
the DEP.
Right.
The
All right,
tidal
so I'll bring that up another
Right.
time while
Okay.
we work on that, because people have asked me about that. The other thing, these 12 recommendations or so, is there anything that you're proposing to add to our budget to help continue this process? With I know that some of them may not need any financial, but I'm not sure how we're going. And
Well-
it's not anything you need to answer, but I just need to figure out when you deal with Mike, if there's anything in here, because I think it's a vital project that needs to keep being funded so that we can continue to see some improvement.
Right, I'll meet with the city manager and we'll discuss if anything else needs to be.
Okay. No problem. Thank you, Mr. Gilio.
welcome,
Thank you for
welcome.
all you've done. And okay, by the way, I'm also a member of the Indian River Lagoon Task Force Committee for Small Communities, and they've picked out some areas that they're focusing on. And I'm going to be meeting with Mr. Gilio and some of the members at that committee, because we have a meeting coming up on, I think, Wednesday evening. We have a Zoom meeting, but I'm going to be getting some grants and some ideas to do some things. So as soon as I hear about those and I work on it, I'll be working with city manager, because maybe we can get some grants through this special process.
Commissioner Rich would like to ask.
Sure.
Yeah, we have one challenge and two opportunities here. Milton, what's the name of the pond at the top of my street? Remember we met there when I was having that terrible growth on Flamingo there? What is the name?
Flamingo Avenue?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we had terrible growth there last year, and I think, Milton, it's correct today, the city shares the desire to spray as little as possible.
Correct.
Right. I'm sure your workers don't like to be around that stuff, and we don't want to put that in our water system. But I think we have two different opportunities here. One is to beautify these areas, and I'm sure, Joe, when I go to Cinnamon Tree and I go to St. Andrews Pond, and I will go there, and I remember I was in downtown, I think it was Richmond, Virginia, in the middle of Industrial Park, and it happened to be at a hotel right next to a retention pond, and it was gorgeous. And I walked my dog at night, and I could not believe the amount of wildlife that was around there. And so this is an opportunity. We should probably prioritize these 22 ponds in the city and see what we can accomplish.
Vice Mayor, keep in mind, we do not own that pond that you're referring to
Right,
now.
oh, yeah.
Okay, just.
But you sprayed it, didn't you?
We've called for the commission to spray it to keep it down because they think we own it, but we do not own it. So that's why we just got it.
So that's not one of our 22.
Correct.
And then the third, to the point the city manager make, is do we want to create aquariums throughout the city? And I mean, that is a very different question than putting more native vegetation in the water and around the shorelines of these areas, of these ponds. So thank you, Joe, for this effort.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And your photos. Don't forget.
My photos, yes.
Thank-
This is a pickle weed.
Yes,
It's not a weed.
it's a beautiful plant.
It's not a weed. If it's a plant that you don't want, it's a weed. And this can be excellent habitat for eggs. And they come out in very white flowers.
Thank you, Dr. Gilio.
Thank you.
I love the lily pads.
Okay, let's move right along here. Well, do we have any comments from the commissioners? Anyone want to start first?
I'll start first.
Go ahead, Commissioner Clark.
I wasn't here on July 4th, but I heard about the fire and ice and the golf cart parade, and I just wanted, it's a good thing that we had July as Recreation Month. I just want to thank our recreation team and the things that they do. And I also don't think I've seen Mr. Kralski since I had the town hall, and he had to do a lot. But I think since then they've been coordinating a lot with the Boys and Girls Club, and he's trying to work on some things. And I just appreciate what our Parks and Recreation Community Services Department does. The other thing is that also our CRA director has been working hard with the East Stewart Historical Committee, and I know that's a lot of additional work, but I appreciate what they're doing, and hopefully the committee will be achieving something by the time they have their next quarterly meeting. I know that we've made a big change to the city's website, and we're adding information, and Jordan Pinkston has been in charge of that, and Ms. Gandhi Savdas and her staff. I just wanted to really thank them. I already spoke to the Employee Wellness Center and to our personnel on the things that they do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could commend Mike Mortel, but I'm telling you, probably above Mike Mortel, and I don't know, I shouldn't say this because he's in charge, but I think that Roz has her hands on everybody. Police, fire, everything, and that's because Mike does good leadership and allows the department heads to really plight their trade or their professionalism. And I know that Roz had her fingers on, that's why we have such good camaraderie with our police and fire and public works and all our departments. And I just want to say thanks to Mike and to, I'm not going anywhere or anything, but it sounds like a going away speech. But I just want to say thanks to Roz and Mike and all the team for what they do. And then I am going away because on June 22nd I won't be here for the next meeting. I just want.
It'd be July 22nd.
Sorry, thank you. Mike is on top of everything. Thank you so much.
I have none.
Well, since we were talking about Poppleton Creek and Central Parkway, and also traffic was mentioned from the dais earlier, I'd like to commend the commission for the requirements they made of the Farrell Creek development. I was not on the commission at the time, and I did not see it on the LPA, but I would, as you know, we've gotten many complaints about the traffic on Central Parkway, the speed of cars. I've been out and talked to one of the developments, and I met a couple people out there and spoken with them, especially those with young children. They put some bump outs there, and they narrowed the road. They changed the texture and color of it. They put in parallel parking on the roadway, and they put in speed bumps, and it has dramatically improved the speed. Yeah,
I love it. I go there all the time.
so it's, what we can accomplish when we approve well-designed developments is impressive, and they may seem small or slight, but when you see them implemented, it's very impressive. And again, I just wanted to congratulate the commission that approved that project and made those requirements on it, and it's definitely improved the traffic
Thank you.
on Central Parkway.
Thank you.
It is nice. Commissioner McDonald?
Yeah, just a couple of things. It was wonderful to hear that we had a successful 4th of July event, as we always do, and congratulations to Mr. Kralski and everybody on his team. They've done great. But I will say that I want to just mention our first responders, our police and fire. We've had within our jurisdiction several horrific car accidents that have left a couple fatalities, a couple near fatalities. And a lot of them have involved intoxicated drivers, which is very unfortunate. So just want to say that, first of all, thank you to our police department for tracking those folks down where you guys were the one agency doing that. Our first responders, our firefighters for having to deal with the aftermath of the crashes, as far as the rescue and taking care of the victims, but also just remind everybody, especially when we're like the 4th of July holiday, and the holiday is done for this now, but there will be others, but alcohol and cars don't mix. So, and we've seen 2 horrific accidents in our community, one that involved alcohol and one that left a wonderful man deceased, and another one where it's surprising that nobody died. So I just wanted to say that and just remind everybody to, be safe, and remember it's not just you out there, it's people that you don't know and all the lives that get affected by your actions. So, thank you.
I wanted to say, I rode with, it was in one of the K9 vehicles. Let me see, I wrote Chris's name down. I don't want to forget it. It was July 4th, and I was downtown, and I wanted to ride with him. And so he said I could, and I talked to the chief and to our manager, Mr. Mortel. And the dog was just amazing. His name is Jerry Lee. So I wrote for a couple hours. And because it was a night of drinking and you don't know what's going to happen. And Chris and I just got to talking and talking and talking. And he was telling me that's one of the most horriblest nights that, all the things that can happen besides all the other holidays where people are drinking and driving. And so I went home, I think it was 10:30, 11:30, and then there was this horrible, horrible wreck. And I don't think he was supposed to get off at 3 or 3:30, and he never did get off, and I had texted him, and then he called me. The good news was for him, he was on his way to Georgia to his place in the mountains. But we had talked about the mental stress that our officers and our firemen go through, and to always keep them in our thoughts. And when it comes to budgets and things like that we have them in our minds, that we want to do the right thing. And I would like to ride even more and learn more. I've ridden before, but they did pull over one car, but I'm one of those scaredy cats. There's no way in hell I'm getting out of the car when it's crazy people. I mean, heck. It was very interesting, and these last few weeks I have talked to the officers and the fire department, and we have a great staff. We have some of the most wonderful staff too. Everyone has to be included in what's going to go forward, but with budgets and things. And I don't wish it on anybody to want to keep our taxes at a certain place and to keep our budget the way we have run it and continue to run it. But I just wanted to say that, and also to give another hoorah. I know it's going on 6:30 and we haven't even gotten anywhere yet. But the golf carts and the way that they decorated those up, red, white, and blue, and there was like 21 of them, and we're going down East Ocean and Palm Beach Road, and it was all the people were there, and I said, how did all these people get out here on the sidewalks? They really plugged that. They really pushed it, and it was amazing. Another couple years it'll be like Christmas parade. But anyway, we have a lot of bright, intelligent employees in our city, and I just want to give them a plug and thank them for everything that they do. And so now we will go forward, and I will ask for Mike to make any comments. Mike?
Just a couple. First, I should note that Officer Heitfeld had his nose broken by that same dog a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God.
Very strong forehead on the dog. In response to the question earlier, a moonshot moment refers to a highly ambitious, groundbreaking goal or project that involves significant innovation, effort, and risk. term originates from President John F. Kennedy's 1962 speech in which he declared the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth by the end of the decade, despite the enormous technical challenges. As a result, a moonshot moment represents a bold vision that, if achieved, can lead to transformative changes and significant advancements in a particular field or endeavor.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I think that, Dr. Mortel, Mr. Mortel is in charge. He's on top of it.
I should also, speaking of moonshot moments, the city of Stuart had one last night. My wife pointed it out to me, and I have to admit, to some extent, it does make me nervous that she likes to watch these murder shows, and sometimes I think it's practice.
Mostly all day, right?
But she watches them a lot, and they're all about a husband getting killed somehow. In any event, last night she actually saved it for me to watch this morning, and it was a show called Snapped, and that's where a person actually snaps and murders their husband. But in this particular instance, it featured a Michael Gerwin from the City of Stuart Police Department, and it was the season premiere of Snapped. And Michael, actually, I sent him an email today and pointed out that he actually had more airtime than the murderer did. But it was a bit of a claim to fame, and the Stuart Police Department looked very good in the season premiere of Snapped. So if you get a chance, you should watch that.
Is that an open case?
It premiered, no, it was in 2008, and it consisted of some people that killed a guy with a samurai sword. And I hope my wife's not listening to that, because I'm not looking forward to the samurai.
As a lawyer,
Oh, you were?
independence in court for the child.
Moving on, I did want to comment too. We did have a very successful 4th of July, and I have to thank the police and fire for that, because from afar it looks, and community services, and from afar it looked like it just naturally happened and that it just went off without a hitch. And I know that Jim and his staff have been working on it for months, not weeks, and they made it look like there was nothing at all. And of course, we had the fire and police in full force to make sure that nothing got out of hand, and it didn't. The second annual golf cart parade did double its attendance, and it really was hugely successful. I got a lot of emails and comments from the people that watched it and the people that were in it, and have already told Jim that I was very proud of the city for that. And then the Fire and Ice was also very successful, and Jim Charlesky sent me some pictures of the kids playing on the snow more than a couple hours after that it was put down. The snow lasted a long time. It was very impressive that it lasted that long, which was a surprise because it was not a cool day. I also wanted to comment on the Treasure Coast Waterway cleanup. Ann Hawkins from the city has been putting this on for the city for as long as I remember, and she's kind of our team leader and has everybody meet at Shepherd's Park on Saturday, July 27th. If you're interested in participating, you should reach out to her. She will get you a T-shirt as such, and it's kind of a successful time, and I always brought my kids to it, and it was give them awareness of the river and the pollution, et cetera. Along the lines of the police and fire, there was a 117-year-old historic home that caught on fire because of a blowtorch doing roof work a couple of weeks ago, and it really should have been a total loss, and our firefighters, and I don't know how they did it, but they were able to get that fire under control and actually saved 2 full rooms of that house that will be able to be restored and come back. You imagine this 100-year-old house that had a tin roof on it. The fire was burning under the tin roof, and they were trying to spray the water inside the house, and it was just like it was burning in an oven. So they really worked hard there. As well, of course, we mentioned already multiple times the police on the 4th of July were up all night because, unfortunately, there was a horrific accident on the bridge, but we did also have reports that most of Stuart, in fact all of Stuart, was relatively quiet. There were a couple of isolated events, but nothing of any serious harm. Our police were very present throughout the entire city, and everything ran very smoothly as far as the 4th of July is concerned. The event that happened at about 1:30 in the morning on the Roosevelt Bridge was really unrelated to our 4th of July festivities and was just an unfortunate circumstance. But our police, of course, handled that and apprehended the person that left the scene within an hour of the actual accident. So I commend them for that as well, and that's all I have.
Thanks,
Madam Mayor,
Mike.
move for approval of the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, we've got a motion of approval of the agenda. We have a second. Can we have a roll? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we will go to the comments from the public. I only have two tonight. Barbara Grass, Ms. Grass? Welcome. Sorry, thank you for your patience.
Welcome back.
It's okay, the budget part was good, too.
Okay, good.
I'm Barbara Grass, 63 Southeast Palermo Court in Stuart, but you can relax. I'm here to say thank you. You listened to the issue, you found the solution, you completed the resolution. In January, I started emailing several commissioners regarding a sidewalk issue along, guess what, Central Parkway. The issue, a missing sidewalk between two city-approved new residential construction. Now the missing sidewalk is completed, making it safer for the school students to get to their bus stop, making it safer for the walkers not to have to walk in the road, making it safer for the bikers. This may seem like a small, not necessary issue, but if a fatality had happened on that section of missing safety, well, who knows? So thank you for listening to a citizen's concern, finding a solution, and under the wonderful supervision of Milton,
Yay, Milton.
making Central Parkway safer.
Ms. Grass, that was wonderful. That was precious. Thank you so much.
It was 12 feet, that's all it was.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And Milton, you made my day.
City manager.
Mr. Lloyd, please.
Good evening. Good evening. So tonight I've come to bring to your attention, I think, an important issue to the community at large, and it has to do with the upcoming elections and the campaigning that's going on with the signs that are out there. It's come to light that the city has given instructions to the staff, or call them maintenance crew, to remove signs. Signs are being removed both off of public property and private property. They're also being disposed of, and there's an ordinance that the city has that states that they should not be removed from private property or thrown away or disposed of. So I'm here just to ask that that would change, that somebody would take initiative and action to make sure the signs aren't picked up where they shouldn't be and are definitely not disposed of. If you need the code or the ordinance, I have it, but I'm sure you know what it is. And I think it's so important that our candidates all have fair and equal shots at campaigning and getting their notice out there for the public to make their decisions. So thank you very much.
And just to let the commission know, I was the one that gave the instruction to code enforcement to remove the signs. Every single sign that was removed has a photograph coinciding with it, which we have access to. And all of the signs that were removed were in public right-of-way, which we have many ordinances that say you're not allowed to abandon or store property in the public right-of-way. And as a result, those signs were disposed of because they weren't considered. We don't read the sign to determine whether it's political speech or not. I said to them, anything like when I was driving on Dixie and on the right-hand side of the road between the sidewalk and the FEC Railroad, there was about 8 signs. And it was all different candidates, but I said those signs aren't allowed to be in the right-of-way. And when you go, a lot of people probably see it on Monterey Road, they all hang on the fence by the airport over there. And there were signs on Indian Street, and there were signs on Colorado and on US 1 and East Ocean Boulevard and Osceola and in the medians and in front of government buildings, and all of them were in right-of-ways that I'm aware of. I had one specific complaint of someone that said the sign was taken from his yard. I spoke to code enforcement on 2 occasions, and at both times they said they never even went to where that particular sign was. But I don't know of any other signs that have been taken from any private property because I haven't heard other than the single complaint that I had.
Mike, I have a question, but the destruction of signs seems like a new, since I campaigned, they always
yeah,
went into the
and
pile on Georgia versus
And what we
being
found
destroyed.
is that what happens is the people that continue to put them in the right-of-ways just come and pick them all up and put them right back in the right-of-way the next day. So I told code enforcement, if they're abandoned on public right-of-way, then they can be disposed of just like the signs that say, buy ugly houses, or just like the beer can that's tossed out of the car window, because I don't treat them as political speech. I said you can't read the sign. You have to just clean up the public right-of-way as if we were mowing it or cleaning it and relieving it of the garbage. And hopefully the people will not put their signs in public right-of-way and disregard it, knowing that they won't get the sign back. When they thought they were getting their signs back, they would just go right back out the next day and put the signs right back up where they were and cause our staff to have to go out and do it. And we get lots of complaints about that. As far as private property is concerned, I'm very specific, and if the code enforcement were here, they'd tell you, they err on the side of caution, even if it's close to somebody's private property, because obviously where the road ends and somebody's grass might be in front of their house, it's not, they never take the signs from there. They take them from public right-of-ways. And if you're driving around and you notice somebody that's put their political sign in the public right-of-way, you should be discouraged by that behavior, and you should not be happy with that candidate, because that's a person that doesn't care about the cost to the city of Stuart of maintaining Stuart. We can't afford to have staff out every day cleaning up somebody's garbage.
Is it true, though, that we have an ordinance that says they should not be destroyed, or no?
We have an ordinance that says that they would be stored and returned if signs were collected that were stored properly and were returned, and that was related to hurricanes. I don't have anything on an ordinance that we have to keep someone's garbage that they abandoned in a public right-of-way
But
anywhere.
they're not to be destroyed, though.
There's no benefit to anybody that
I
we have to keep
understand
a
your
sign.
point,
But
but
there's no ordinance that says that we have a responsibility to maintain and store anything that was abandoned in a public right-of-way.
Sir, you can't bring it up. He knows
He's
what it
welcome
is.
to.
He knows it.
Use all my 3 minutes.
Here's our lawyer. He knows it, and we're going to move on. Okay.
Move approval of the consent
Second.
agenda.
We have a motion for the consent calendar. We have a second. All in favor?
No,
No, we do have to do a roll.
we need public comment, ask for public comment.
Do I have any public comment on our consent calendar? I see none. We'll have a roll.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Bruner?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
And Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Okay, that went. We will now go to Lee. Number 13, I'll read that part. You can read the resolution. This is award of ITB 2024-105, Riverside Park Neighborhood - Oleander Park improvements. You read that, Lee.
Sure, Madam Mayor. Resolution number 61-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, approving the award of ITB number 2024-105, Riverside Park Neighborhood Oleander Park improvements to the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder with a total unit price of $83,127.16 to Brightview Landscape Services, Inc. of Vero Beach, Florida, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
No.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Kunal Gandhi Savda, CRA Director for the record. This item is coming before you to award bid to a contractor for Oleander Park improvements. This is a mini public park located in the Riverside Park neighborhood. It's nestled between the condo building and single-family home. It's located in a mixed-use neighborhood just north of the Old Bridge and in close proximity to downtown. Currently, the park is underutilized with narrow sidewalk that leads to the St. Lucie River. During the outreach meeting, it was a neighborhood that requested improvements to this park as we were working through the Riverside Park Streetscape Improvements Project. Here's a schematic design for the park that was completed in 2023. This project is in the CRA plan. The park improvements will include irrigation, wider paved sidewalk, shade trees, benches, decorative fence, and new park signage. The park improvements will be completed in conjunction with the Riverside Park Neighborhood Streetscape Improvements Project, which is expected to go in construction by the end of this month. The streetscape improvements will also include construction of the water service line under the roadway in order to provide the irrigation to the park. So this is part of the streetscape project that will help irrigate the park. And the streetscape improvements, as I've mentioned before in previous presentations, the improvements will include sidewalks, on-street parking, street lights, landscaping, pervious paver, and milling and resurfacing of the roadways. In addition to the streetscape and park improvements, we recently received a pre-application for development of large vacant parcel within this neighborhood. This parcel is about 2.26 acres. The project will include townhomes and single-family homes with alleyway access for garages to avoid numerous driveway curb cuts along the streets. The project is consistent with the CRA vision and neighborhood beautification project. The project will include approximately 23 townhomes and 5 single-family homes. It currently is just in the pre-application process, but just wanted to, bring this up to the board since we're doing the streetscape improvements project and the park improvements. We're also starting to see some development and redevelopment activities in this neighborhood. So today, staff is requesting approval of resolution number 61-2024 to award contract to Brightview Landscape Services, Inc. for the park improvements.
Thank you very much. Commissioner McDonald?
First of all, I love the pocket parks, so I'm really, as we are improving the different pocket parks, I think it's fabulous, and we have a few other ones that aren't necessarily in the CRA that I'd love to redo, like over on Riverside Drive, but this is a great project, and I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. We have a second by Commissioner Clark. Any public comments on this?
Now, it says they're based in Vero, but I see on their notice for contract, they list their address as Stuart, Florida. Are they based in the city of Stuart, or are they based in Vero?
They do have a Dixie Highway address, but they are also part of our continuation services. So they do other maintenance in the city. So they are a contractor that we've used in the past.
Okay. Thanks. That's all.
Okay. All right, we got Commissioner Rich's question solved. Roll.
Commissioner Collins?
Sorry. Yes.
Mayor Brunner?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
And Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Okay. This meeting is adjourned.